Another day, another story. The story's name is My Father, My Hero. Once upon a time, there was a girl named Emma who lived in a small village surrounded by lush green mountains. She lived with her father and siblings, and life was simple but happy. Emma remembers how her father worked hard to raise his children after their mother's death. Because Emma is the eldest of her siblings and she remembers her father with love and compassion. The father fulfilled the wishes of all the children in such a way that no one missed their mother. Emma considers her father as the biggest motivation and inspiration in her life. She considers her father her hero. One day, Emma's father fell seriously ill. They had to take him to the nearest hospital in the city, which was several hours away. Emma was devastated, and she prayed that her father would recover soon. However, days turned into weeks, and her father's health only deteriorated. Emma and her family spent every day at the hospital, hoping for a miracle. But one day, the doctor called them into a private room and told them that her father's condition was critical and that they should prepare for the worst. Emma's world shattered into a million pieces, and she felt like her heart had been ripped out of her chest. She couldn't bear the thought of losing her father. That night, Emma sat by her father's bedside and held his hand. Tears streamed down her face, and she whispered to him, "Dad, please don't leave me. I need you. We all need you." But her father was too weak to respond, and he lay there, barely conscious. When Emma's father had been in the hospital for several weeks, her younger brother Tommy came to visit. He was only 7 years old, and he had a hard time understanding why their father was so sick. Emma took Tommy to their father's room and explained that their dad was very ill, but the doctors were doing everything they could to help him. Tommy climbed onto the bed and snuggled up to their father, holding his hand. "I love you, Dad," he said. "Please get better soon." Emma watched with tears in her eyes as her father smiled weakly and squeezed Tommy's hand. She realized that her younger brother had a deeper understanding of love and compassion than she had given him credit for. Another sentimental event happened when Emma's sister, Mia, came to visit from college. She had been away for several months, and Emma missed her terribly. When Mia saw their father in the hospital bed, she burst into tears. Emma wrapped her arms around her sister, and they cried together. Later, when they were alone in the hospital waiting room, Mia said, "I don't know what I would do if I lost Dad. He's always been there for us." Emma nodded in agreement, and they sat in silence, holding hands. In that moment, they both realized how much they needed each other and their family. These events showed Emma that even in the darkest of times, her family could come together and support each other. They were all feeling the pain of their father's illness, but they found comfort in each other's company. Emma knew that no matter what happened, her family would always be there for her, just as they were for their father in his final days. Emma gets lost in her past and revels in happy memories with her father and cries. When Emma was 6 years old, her father took her on a camping trip in the mountains. They spent the day hiking, exploring, and roasting marshmallows around the campfire at night. It was the first time Emma had ever seen so many stars in the sky, and her father pointed out all the constellations and told her stories about the myths behind them. While wiping her tears, seeing her father lying unconscious, the thought comes to her. Emma was 10 years old, and she participated in her school's talent show. She was extremely nervous, but her father was in the audience, cheering her on. He gave her a thumbs up after her performance, and she felt like she could conquer the world. Another wave of memories came and swept away. One summer, when Emma was 12 years old, her father took her on a road trip to the beach. They drove for hours, singing along to the radio and playing car games. When they finally arrived, they spent the week building sandcastles, swimming in the ocean, and eating ice cream. Emma felt like the luckiest girl in the world, having her father all to herself. Whenever Emma was feeling down or upset, her father always knew how to make her smile. He would tell her jokes, make silly faces, and give her bear hugs. Emma's father was her rock, her best friend, and her hero. As the night wore on, Emma's siblings fell asleep in chairs beside the bed, but Emma stayed awake, watching over her father. She thought about all the times he had held her when she was scared, made her laugh when she was sad, and supported her dreams no matter how crazy they seemed. And then, in the early hours of the morning, something miraculous happened. Emma's father opened his eyes and looked at her. He smiled weakly and said, "Emma, my dear, I love you. Always remember that you are a woman and being a woman is your strength." And with those words, he closed his eyes and passed away. Emma's heart broke into a million pieces, and she cried uncontrollably. She didn't know how she would ever live without her father, who was her best friend and confidant. But as time passed, she realized that her father's love would always be with her, and she would never be alone. Emma learned that sometimes, the most emotional and heart-wrenching moments in life can also teach us the most important lessons about love, loss, and resilience. She would never forget her father, but she also knew that she had to be strong and live a life that would make him proud. Emma learned hard work, love, sincerity, dedication to work, and dedication to progress from her father. And above all, that one thing is that you are a woman, and being a woman is your strength. Never forgot. Emma's father was her hero. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel for more stories.